Welcome to episode 5 of The Final Whistle. I'm Drew Zeigler and I'm joined by James Gougosis. This week we have several exciting topics, including playoff matchups in MLB and a start to the new season, as well as week 7 of the NFL season and heading into week 7. And first up in the NFL, the Bills beat the Giants 14-9 on Sunday night. Just a crushing loss for the Giants, and I think this could say you almost end their season on that loss.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because the defense played really well against a great Bills offense. But obviously the big play of the game was the 4th and goal with no time left. Darren Waller definitely got held. And this is like the third straight week we're talking about a game where the refs really decided the ending. And it's just unfortunate because if Waller catches the ball, Giants go 2-4 with a great win against the Bills. And all of a sudden you have some momentum heading into the next few weeks. But now the season's over. And, it's just a very unfortunate loss for the Giants.
Yeah, Giants' defense was just phenomenal throughout the entire game with Bobby Okereke leading them. And the touchdown to win the Bills the game was to Quentin Morris, who didn't have a target on the year. But it doesn't matter because he catches the touchdown and he beats the Giants. And it was just obviously a crushing loss for us as Giants fans as well. And in another game, an upset in this one, the Browns upset the 49ers 19-17. Jake Moody had a chance at the end of the game to kick a 41-yard field goal, but he just missed it right.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns defense really showed up against a good 49ers offense, obviously, and really shut down Brock Purdy for the first time this season. And the Browns defense is legit. They're really good. I think people really don't see him as good as the 49ers defense, but I think they're right there with him. I think they're just fast around the corners. And for the 49ers, obviously, Christian McCaffrey leaving the game didn't help. If Christian McCaffrey is out for the next few weeks, it's a little bit of a concern because after he left the game, the offense just wasn't flowing that much compared to before when he left.
Yeah, obviously the 49ers lost, but even the biggest concern was their top 3 players injured, Trent Williams, Deebo Samuel, and Christian McCaffrey, as you mentioned. And we're not sure how long they'll be out, but obviously that's a concern to watch for the 49ers, and we don't know if Brock Purdy can lead this team by himself. And in one final game we're going to go over, the Jets beat the Eagles 20-14 in another upset game. Jets defense just played out of their minds despite missing several top corners in that game. And that shows it's not the players, it's the scheme, and the Jets have a great defense with their scheme.
Yeah, with Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed out, I thought the Eagles were going to destroy the Jets. But, yeah, I mean, the depth in the Jets defense is really good, especially when you consider that the Eagles probably one of the best offenses in the league with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, and they locked both of them up pretty much the entire game. And the Jalen Hurts interception right before the end of the game, I mean, the Jets defense just flying around, and it shows that obviously with the team led by Zach Wilson isn't going to have a good offense, but you don't need a great offense with that defense to be a good team. 3-3, I didn't expect them to be 3-3, and Aaron Rodgers already throwing footballs pregame. Probably I would expect them to come by the end of the season. Maybe if the Jets could sneak into a playoff spot, that could be a big boost for them.
Yeah, the Jets could be a sneaky team, and especially, as you said, coming back with Aaron Rodgers, that only makes things better. And the Eagles in that game, no brotherly shoves, tush pushes, whatever you want to call it. And Jalen Hurts did not look good, throwing 3 interceptions, almost like his rookie year. And Devonta Smith also a few drops in that game, which was a bit of a concern. And now to our pick'em standings. You went 10-4 this past week, 51-24 overall, and I went 9-5. I'm 48-27 overall, falling behind a little bit. But for this upcoming week 7, your game of the week, you got Eagles at Dolphins, just a great game in Philly.
Yeah, 2 of the best offenses in football. I think the defensive play will determine the winner of this game, though. And with the Eagles, I think having a better defense than the Dolphins, even though the Dolphins have a better offense, I think the Eagles will be able to come back from that Jets loss and beat the Dolphins. Big win for them.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill on pace for over 2,000 yards, and we'll see what the Eagles defense can do to stop him. Obviously got a top cornerback in Darius Slay, and we'll see what he can do. And my game of the week, Chargers at Chiefs. Chargers coming off that loss to the Cowboys on Monday night at home. Obviously a crushing defeat, not putting up many points on the board, and they had a chance at the end, but Justin Herbert threw a pick on the final drive. And they looked really good at the beginning of the game, but they only scored 10 points, and everything started to slow down after that first quarter, basically. And now lock of the week, a great game you picked in it. Lions +3 versus the Ravens at M&T Bank Stadium.
Yeah, the Lions are rolling with Jared Goff, a quarterback. I think he's like 13-4 in his last 17 starts. I think they'll beat the Ravens by more than 3. I think they're just a better team offensively and defensively, with Lamar Jackson struggling a little bit. So I think the Lions are going to win pretty easily.
Yeah, and my lock of the week, Cleveland going into Indianapolis, coming off a huge win against the 49ers. I got them -2 versus the Colts. Obviously, the Anthony Richardson expected to be out for the year, so Gardner Minshew will be leading that team. And now to upset of the week, you got the Falcons beating the Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah, the Falcons, even though they lost to the Commanders, they looked better than they have in past weeks, and I think the Buccaneers are coming back to earth. I think they had a good start, but really slowing down. Baker Mayfield not playing as well as he did in the first few weeks, so I think the Falcons are going to beat the Buccaneers.
I have the Bucs so far this year, though, and I think they're going to have a bounce-back win, and they're going to contain the Falcons' run, despite Desmond Ridder last week throwing for over 300 yards, and Drake London finally a breakout game for him. And now my upset of the week, I got the Giants beating the Commanders at home, MetLife Stadium. I think Tyrod Taylor gives us a better chance to win, and I hope to see him starting on Sunday at 1 o'clock. And now we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the MLB League Championship Series. All right, so now we got the League Championship Series up first, but actually the division series we're going to go over. The Phillies that beat the Braves in 4 games. Phillies just dominant the whole series, a bunch of homers, and in that final game, Strider gave up 3 runs on 5.2 innings, and he didn't look like his dominant self.
Yeah, I predicted this. I think the Phillies were going to come out, swinging, and they definitely did. And Strider, once again, big-time game, kind of just folded under the lights. And I feel like that's a little bit of a concern for Strider in the future. Yeah,
Nick Castellanos was huge in that series, hitting 2 homers, and they're just on a tear right now, and that's going to continue into the NLCS as we already saw in Game 1 from where we are right now. And the other NLDS series was D-backs. They sweep the Dodgers, just huge surprise, and the D-backs looked dominant, and in that final game, they had 4 homers in 1 inning.
Yeah, I mean, Dodgers were my World Series pick because they had all that experience, and I think Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts 1 for 21 in this series. I mean, those are your 2 best players, and for them to have 1 hit in the entire series, you're not going to win the series. And the Diamondbacks looked like the experienced team, hitting home runs in that Game 3 off Lance Lynn. And, yeah, I mean, this D-backs team is scary.
Yeah, and now to the AL side, another sweep. Rangers sweep the Orioles, despite the Orioles being the 1 seed, and seemed they were just too young, and the lights were too bright for them, as the Rangers just put up several runs. Nathan Eovaldi in that series, 7 innings, only 1 run allowed in that Game 3.
Yeah, I had the Rangers beating the Orioles because I feel like they had a better matchup, and they definitely did with the pitching, really quieting the Orioles, and the offense really showed up for the Rangers, which has been a little streaky this year.
Yeah, and the last series, now making their 7th LCS appearance straight. The Astros defeat the Twins in 4 games, and they just look like the more dominant team. The experience showed in that one, despite not showing on the NL side.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody kind of expected the Astros to really cruise through this series, and they definitely did. I mean, Carlos Correa gave them a little scare in Game 2, but no, it was Game 3. But I mean, the Astros, I feel like everybody knew they were going to make the ALCS. I definitely did, and you did. So yeah, no surprise.
And Yordan Alvarez, just possibly the best player in this postseason so far, and he's been doing well in the LCS, but to no avail, as the Astros are down 2-0 to the Texas Rangers, despite playing both games at home.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Montgomery, Nathan Eovaldi, I said it in the wild card series, they pitched gems against the Rays, and they're pitching gems against the Astros, and you need pitching in the playoffs, and they're showing up. That's why in the ALCS now, Max Scherzer Game 3, he hasn't pitched in the postseason. This is a must win, obviously, for the Astros. I don't think the Astros are going to come back from down 3-0, but this is the series, in my opinion. If the Astros need to win this game to get some momentum, and the Rangers with their offense, I think they're going to win this game.
I think the Astros have a good chance at doing so, though. Marcus Semien mentioned how well the Astros played at Texas Rangers home, as the Astros win the season series 9-4. So they're obviously not afraid to go away and win games, but they couldn't do it at home. So only time will tell. And now to the NLCS, we saw Game 1, Phillies' domination of the Diamondbacks. Solo home runs all over. Castellanos, Schwarber, Harper, same names we always hear. And do the Diamondbacks even have a chance?
Yeah, I think they still have a chance. It's only Game 1, so I wouldn't say the series is over, but obviously the Phillies have the advantage. But yeah, Game 2 is going to be important. I think the Diamondbacks need to come out, pitch better than they did in Game 1. You can't go down 2-0 2-0 in the first two batters in the game and then really expect to come back and win with all the momentum. But I don't think the series is over. I think once the series goes to Arizona, that we'll really see the real Diamondbacks team and see if they actually have a chance of moving on. But right now, I think the Phillies, if I had to give a prediction, I say the Phillies would win the series in 6 games.
Yeah, tonight for us, obviously, this is a key game for the Diamondbacks especially. If they could take a game in Philly, that would flip the script, and maybe they could run away with it. And now we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be introducing the 2023-2024 NHL season. And now going into the NHL season has just begun, and we're going to go over our picks for the division winners. First up, the Metro Division, always a top division, just a bunch of great teams, and the Hurricanes have been doing very well the past few years, and that's who you've got winning this year.
Yeah, they dominated this division. I think they will again. I think Sebastian Aho is just such a good player on that roster. I think Frederick Anderson will be important as a goaltender, and I think they're just much better than the Devils and the Rangers. I think Devils finish second, Rangers finish third, but I think the Hurricanes will win by a pretty large margin.
Yeah, my Metro favorite. I've got the young rising team, the New Jersey Devils. I just think they're too good. They're too fast for other teams, and I think that's going to lead them to a division win. And now to the Atlantic, I've got the Lightning, obviously very experienced, always making it to the playoffs, and they're healthy this year other than their goalie, Andrei Vasilevsky, who will be out a few months, which is obviously a key loss. But they've got Stamkos, they've got Kucherov, they've got Hedman, and I think they're going to lead them.
Yeah, I got the Bruins. I think coming off. Wait, did I say the wrong thing?
No.
I thought I said the wrong division. Just restart it. Should we restart?
We'll just make a graphic for the Lightning.
All right. For the Atlantic, I got the Bruins. I think coming off historic season, obviously they lost Bergeron, which is a key loss, but I think with their depth, just so good. I think their second and third lines could maybe rival other teams' first and second lines. I think with the depth on that Bruins roster, I think they'll be very good, and especially the depth at the goalie position. I think every day they're going to have a top goalie in the league. You don't get that with a lot of teams, so I think the Bruins will win the division.
And the Central Division, I think this is more a clear pick for both of us. We picked the same team, the Avalanche, just star-studded roster. Obviously Nathan McKinnon, Gabriel Landeskog, Cale Makar, and I just think they're that much better than every other team in that division.
Yeah, that division isn't very strong. It's pretty weak, but I think a big thing we saw last year was Georgiev having a really good year. He was struggling with the Rangers, but going out there to Colorado, he was a very solid goalie, and I mean, with a solid goalie in that star-studded lineup, they'll definitely win the division.
Yeah, now to the last division, the Pacific. I've got the defending champs, the Vegas Golden Knights, winning this division. And you've got the Oilers. Obviously, they have McDavid, so they've always got a chance.
Yeah, they're off to a rough start this year, but with McDavid, they're just star-studded lineup. I think it will be very close to the Golden Knights. Golden Knights are one of the best teams in the league, but with McDavid, I mean, anything's possible. He get 150 points a season just like that. So I think he'll definitely lead the Oilers to a division championship.
Yeah, and you're very high on that team as your Stanley Cup Finals prediction is the Hurricanes defeating the Oilers in the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I think this will be the year the Oilers finally make that playoff run. I feel like they've fallen short every single year, falling below expectations. But I think the Hurricanes, I think they just have a better lineup than the Oilers. I think they'll outplay them. And I think they're just a better team, and that's why I think the Hurricanes will win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and for my pick for the Stanley Cup Finals, I've got the Lightning defeating the Golden Knights when they get Vasilevsky back. That just makes that team that much better. And the Golden Knights obviously defending champs, and they're going to have a good run in the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be back-to-back this year. And that will conclude Episode 5 of The Final Whistle, and there will be more sports to talk about next week. This has been Drew Zeigler and James Gougosis, and we thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of The Final Whistle.